And you had your little badge. And the badge guy. Boo, I gotta focus on this, okay? Alright, it's okay. I love you, Boo. I get you, and I missed you too. But regardless, let's focus on the operation here. So, the Polish forces are going to be on defense. Boo, please. Yes. Okay, I have cigars. Cool. Anyway. You know, being an adult now, getting into some adult things, I just humidified my, or I guess seasoned the humidor box. Whatever, I forget the exact term for it, but that's drying off right now, so that's good. But anyway, let's go. Let's give the explanation here. So, Polish forces are going to be defending. Czech forces are going to be attacking for this scenario. There are multiple different things to do for this operation. Now, I am technically in an OFCRA slot right now instead of a spectator slot because the mission developer didn't put any spectator slots down. So, I am able to see all of what OFCRA puts on the map. The map is Chernaurus 2020, so it's basically like DayZ's Cherno map. Just, you know, put into Arma 3 here. So it looks like the majority of the area is going to be around the western side of Green Mountain, focusing around the dam area and north of Zelenogorsk. But otherwise, we might have... Actually, no. So it looks like they're planning a massive outflank here as well. And they have UAVs, too. Interesting. But otherwise, let me go ahead and go over the operation today and how both sides can score points. So, for both sides, there is a city near a chapel, quote-unquote. I am trying to find that right now in terms of the capture zone. Here it is. So, this area, whoever controls this area by the end of the mission will gain 4 points. There's also a presbytery, that's it, which is right here. So, whoever controls this place by the 50-minute mark will gain 4 points as well. Now, OFCRA is a full 90-minute match. So basically, by the halfway point, whoever has forces in here will gain those 4 additional points. Now, Blue 4 is the defending faction here, as the Polish forces, I believe. So they have a general that they need to keep alive, and they also need to put him inside the chapel area of this area right here to also gain points. So keeping him alive towards the end of the mission gains them 1 point. Putting him inside the chapel area by the hour 20 mark, so basically 10 minutes before the mission ends, will gain them another point. And then there's the supremacy bonus. I'll get to that in a second. OPFOR gains 2 points by killing the general. So it's really going to be a focus for this AO first for the 50 minutes, and then the remaining second half of the mission will be focusing on the chapel area here, but also for total control of that general anyway. And then, of course, they have the supremacy bonus, which is interesting to see because they've been shifting it to a different type of supremacy bonus, where you keep forces alive. But this one is pretty simple. It's if you eliminate all but 5 or less of the enemy force, your side gains 2 points. To put that in more simple English, if you are Blue 4 and OP4 goes down to 5 or less players, you gain 2 points. If you are OP4 and Blue 4 goes down to 5 or less players, you get 2 points. So, supremacy is actually pretty important here because it's worth 2 points, whereas the general is only worth either 1 individual point for 2 different objectives for Blue 4 or 2 points for Op 4. Usually the supremacy bonus is a little bit of an afterthought, but here it is pretty important. But the main importance is control of this zone and that zone because they're worth 4 points each. So we'll see how things go in that regard. Liru hand reveal confirmed. Yeah, it's okay. I show my hands all the time. We didn't do a cooking stream last weekend, so I intend to do one this weekend. I might also have some guests show up to help me cook. Who knows? I'm gonna call you Pain Daddy Liru when you Zeus. I mean, if that's what you want to do with your life, Jeff, by all means, you do whatever the hell makes you happy. Look, I had some lemon juice in the fridge because I was trying to grow some lemon saplings. Didn't really work too well, so I have another idea on how to grow some new ones, but I stored the lemon juice. Lemon juice has been there in the fridge for a few days, so I decided to make some whiskey sours out of it. I've drunk most of it. I am a little tipsy, so I'm just trying to have a little bit of fun here. But regardless, player count so far, actually the easiest way for me to check player count is to tab out, look into OFCRA's Discord here, Wow, all right. I'm going to add a title here because we are officially in the triple digits. This is a 100-plus player OFCRA match. Which, I'm going to be honest, it is rare to see 100 players in PvP now because you have the, whatchamacallit, FNF doesn't, it's rare for them to break 100 too, but that's also because they were doing a lot of World War II stuff. And you're right, Michael. There is no poll up. Let me go ahead and throw one up real quick. Here, I need a fact check real quick. Blue 4 is the Polish. Yep, okay. And I'll put that up for 10 minutes. So I put it for 10 minutes. I think we'll be bypassed on the map screen in 3, which, you know, on the 2-minute delay means at the 5-minute mark, so I'll move things over around. And then they're also putting up a lot of markers over here where enemy predictions are possible. I don't think when it starts, these two positions having enemies is likely. Like, maybe you'll see a rush, but that's really equidistant from both positions where units spawn. And that's also banking on the fact that vehicles are going to spawn right here to move forces in. Because with these two flag markers indicate where your spawn points are. And I just don't see the Polish forces rushing out to immediately take those positions, personally. So I get they're sending the BRDM to basically set up a distractionary force here, but that's a bit of a tough call in my opinion. So we'll see how things go with that. We'll do a player breakdown once we get pushed into the game screen. Again, 90-minute round. I like to divide it into 3 30-minute sections: your early game, your mid game, and your late game. Usually combat is mostly seen either at the late stage of early game or mid game itself, and then late game has your cleanup, where, you know, a very obvious victor then emerges, but sometimes it gets really, really close. And you see some really major upsets as well happen in late game. Like a few weeks ago, we saw, oh my gosh, I'm blanking on his name. Novix. No. Novix is a player with an FNF. Nubas. Yeah, so Nubas hid in a tree, and he was able to kill like 12 of the enemies, people on the enemy side. But he also caused like 3 friendly fire incidents because they couldn't find him in that damn tree, and it was pretty damn funny. But it goes to show how lateral and comfortable a lot of PvP players get in their thinking to not check certain areas that are creative that, you know, someone could really rack up a multi-kill with, so... Either side could get a total of 12 points today by completing both objectives, killing or keeping the general alive depending on the faction they are, and the supremacy bonus. But 8 of those points are valued in these positions. So I'd imagine these positions are going to be the determinant for how this mission goes. Warm-up ends in 1 minute. We'll be pushed through. I'm going to immediately kill myself to get into the spectator interface, and we will begin our match commentary. Random idea, if you have a recipe you want me to cook for a Saturday or Sunday cooking stream, feel free to DM me on Discord and I will do my best. Also, the delicious sign got repaired. If you don't know what that means, don't worry about it. If you did see what happened to it, yeah, Bloodwing fixed it. And I immediately told her I can't wait to accidentally break it again, even though it was a complete accident, but, you know, shit happens. But nonetheless, I hope you all, tongue twister there, you all are enjoying your Thursday. And here we go.
Damn.
Alright, so I'm going to immediately kill myself there to get my controls here. And it's going to yell at me for a little bit because of me doing that. That is A-okay. So yeah, this interface, it's a little more clean on the angles here. But regardless, here you have opt for the check forces as we go into this position. So I'm going to waste no time. Check forces seem to have the CZ9. Oh gosh, I forget their exact battle rifle. It's basically a 5.56 rifle. I forget the exact designation, but we use it in the Pog Ops, actually, through Cup. But we see a mix of SU-230 scopes. We got some holographic with some magnifiers on them as well. We got some grip pods in play. So some magnified optics to play with for sure, not just, you know, single holographic sights or iron sights. We also see some SR-25s in play as well. Oh man, and the music begins. All right, I'm gonna give a little bit of distance here. Again, it's gonna be a little bit janky to utilize this interface because this is one that I had to kill myself to get instead of the dedicated one. But they're playing music down there, so I gotta give a little bit of a wide berth here. Otherwise, we see Land Rovers with 50 cals here. We have a BRDM. We got a Transport Vic back here with a PKT, or the equivalent, turned out over here. And then a lot of transport cars here in itself. So multiple 50 cals and an AGS in play. All right. But otherwise, I saw RPGs in play there as well. But they're reporting that each side is ready. That's a new feature. So maybe if both sides are ready, they start a little earlier than the warm-up time. Let's go ahead and look over at Blue 4. Blue 4. Are they both just playing the fucking... oh, the Polish cow song about cocaine. All right, I need to mute myself so I can come in here without... Oh, it's an effect. Damn. All right, so I can't mute my I can't mute that effect without silencing all effect audio. That's funny that they put that in there. Otherwise, I think this is the Special Forces group, but no one decided to take these kits today. But we'll go ahead and cover vehicles and player kits because I can't get close because I don't want to get a copyright strike. So we got a PKT Vic down there. We got two M2 cars down there. We got some vanilla MRAPs, and we have some transport trucks. Now, for the record, I don't mind if they play music. I just got to dodge it with copyright because Twitch and YouTube can get really iffy, but it is really funny to listen to. Definitely. But otherwise, Blue 4 is all set and done. Let's go ahead and cover our roster. So starting with Blue 4, we have Mr. Despacito commanding. Everyone that says AI, I'm going to go ahead and skip. We got someone named Villar on his own, taking the marksman slot up there. Otherwise, we got Kilo leading with Cheeseburger and Smiths. We got Giovanni with Vexan and Discape. I'm just going to call him Desk. Got Pogo underscore with Cali, Ezio, Roland, Barros, and that is it there. We got Newton with a full team with Nikolai, Magnus, Robert Weedgood, and Raposo, Martinez, and Khalil. We got Rixu with Yosunio, Navy Chan, Popsy, Lecarfor, Lama, Bartek, and Yuru. And then we got NASA leading Sky Online, Emir, Roy DeCamper, Wombat, Doritos, Ash, Parthius. Then we got Rigel leading Nubas, Blank Name, Lolo, Shay, Mr. Dave, Demovar, Havacta House Logic, and Garrett. And we have just a lot of AI here, but we do have Hayes and Blast also together. I think this is just the reserve player list there. Otherwise, Op 4 is going to be led by TK Llama on his own. Ilbanex is going to be leading Joda, Mafo, Sixor, Beast, and that appears to be it. Dezo leading Jozo and Demeter, I think it's Demito, and Carlos as well. Mr. White. That's it. Mr. White leading Rick Hunter, Jonathan, Flip for Flap, and Rizbo. Nannard leading Baku, Ethan Prince, Jiwi, Vincent, and Mika. David Aff leading Zent, Dordant, Funi, Ziron, Adriwi, and Gotzi. Egostad leading Minos, Monica, Carlitos, Arnau, and Alpha Male. And then we got Aja by himself in that small group. I think that's a vehicle crew. But we have Sir Magi. I'm not even going to Magicosaurus, I think, with Mars, Tomas, Nicker, Ivan, Peppa, and Lewis. No, Lillis. Lillis, that's it. And then the Atomac leading Maddie, Val, Kuwait, Gregory, Settler, and Skipu. And then Malgrim as a fill-in force. And then you have this dead dumbass down here who doesn't even know how to play this damn game. Otherwise, that appears to be it in terms of breakdown. We're going to see all of the OPFOR's markers in real time here, but otherwise, why did all my symbols disappear? There we go. So they're still playing fucking meme music. It's coming from the megaphones over there. But otherwise, that should be it. The only thing I have left to cover, 2 minutes till start, is the Blue Force weaponry. Trying to get close. Can't stay too long. Yeah, it's still going. All right, so basically the Polish version of the PKP, we've got SVDs and some sort of AK, but that looks like 5.56 based ammunition for an AK. And otherwise, I'm seeing regular magnified optics. I think they broke it and they looped multiple songs together, so now it just sounds like a jumbled mess down there. But otherwise, we'll go ahead and look over at the AOs. I don't know where the general is. We're going to have to go find him later, but this is the town area, so whoever controls this zone by the end of the match wins 4 points. The general has to be put back here. Looks like right here is a great place to put him, but grenades can be lobbed from that little window, but they've done their best to fortify this area here. And then we have this over here, which is the, I forget the name of it, but this is the other fortified section. That was interesting. But otherwise, this is worth 4 points for controlling by the end of the match. So we'll just have to look and see how the player base defends itself from everything that gets put up. And meanwhile, I'm going to go ahead and hit page up here. But yeah, the interface is a little different with this scenario. Simply because, again, I had to Alt F4 myself. See, it's funny, though, because this is where my base is in the DayZ server right now. That's up where a trader is, and then you have a military position right here that I like to loot, and then there's another military position past this village. Oh, it's actually here. It's a little different. The tents are in a bit of a different orientation, but yeah, no, this is another spot. Then you got Tizzy all the way up yonder. And then northwest, which has a lot more barracks around, but you know, northwest is northwest. Anyway, mission has begun. And we're starting to see OPFOR deploy here. So they're taking the AGS. We got 250 cal cars. You got the BRDM being put into play here. And otherwise, everyone else is moving out. Looks like there's a little bit of shouting because they're a little confused on how they want to deploy themselves. And I think all the AI just disappeared. All right, so you got the full roster in play here now. Meanwhile, for Blue 4, we're seeing one of the... No, that's the PKT Humvee being deployed. You got a transport Humvee also going with them. And then we got some transport trucks going out and play here. And they're playing more music. Good God. All right, so we'll see how they deploy. We're already seeing some Blue 4 guys pulling back to play defense on their respected zones. Whew, but we'll see how things go. Now, with early game, of course, the first thing that you got to wait on is just the sheer deployment of their forces. So BRDM's going north to try to set up some blocking positions here, or at least harass any enemies that form blocking positions there. I'm not sure if Blue 4 is going to actually go out and do that. They might just focus solely on defense today. And that BRDM is going to have to end up encroaching a little further north to get any sort of harassment in. But it is pretty much a waiting game now. And otherwise, the poll did finish. If you guys don't mind, could you tell me what the numbers were on both sides, just so I can see what you guys decided to bet on? But another quick thing to note, this is entirely an open map here. There is no cover map module down, which means there's no map borders other than the border of the map itself. So any side can go on any position, technically. So it's just going to be a long driving around. So it looks like right here I was correct. Most of Blue 4 is going to fold down into the first defensive position itself. We'll probably see an internal garrison and then maybe some garrisons on the tree line areas around as well. But beyond that, you have a small blocking position being set up down here. Again, part of my camera controls, I'm not used to this specific interface. Normally I have a spectator slot that has a different interface to work with these controls. Otherwise, you got the magnified optics here as well. But it looks like they're talking about setting up some trenches here. This is a really good overwatch point to really see anything that is coming along the roads as well. That's not a bad pick, but yeah, you got the BRDM coming around, trying to figure out what's going on with Blue 4's deployment, but we'll see what their deployment plan is with this area. Again, I figured it's going to be in the forests around this position and then on that position specifically. Now, in terms of the general, I believe Despo is the general, quote-unquote, for this scenario because that's how he was labeled. So we'll just see where he gets deployed from there, but it looks like he is sticking to their spawn for now. So we'll probably see him come back and take that one position later. But Blue 4, meanwhile, they've actually fully deployed their forces all around this one position. I thought I saw a car come back here, but it looks like it stopped to just chill in this hillside itself. So that's an interesting call. But let's see. I believe it was an 8-minute safe start attack here. Oh, that's brilliant. So if it's already been 4 minutes, it's going to take another 4 to 5 minutes for them to drive all the way over here and reconvene. However, they did mark a point where they were going to stop and deploy a drone. Just to see where things go. They also have a marked tree down here, which I think was just a funny little dud mark, unless they mean there's a tree on the road, but I don't see any, so... pretty funny. They're also talking about squeezing. Right. So they're going to basically dismount from the road and instead go through that position. Yeah, so they definitely did some planning with this, though. But we're just going to have to be patient upon seeing what they'll do outside of that. But yeah, it's going to be pretty much a slow start. It was over 70% Polish righto. 72-28 Polish to check. Thank you so much. See, the thing about this strat is I appreciate what Op4 is doing with this massive outflank. Blue 4 might not be able to predict it in time. But Op4 has still planned to be engaged on this position. But I think they're going to catch Blue 4 with their pants down here. So Blue 4 is going to have to quickly reposition its forces to the south to deal with it. But they'll be out of position, and Blue 4 will be in a good spot to take this position here. But let's see, looking at Blue 4's southernmost position, they have opted to also come into this building here to hold a defensive. And they actually have that position pre-marked as a possible enemy position. So Op4 is looking pretty good attack plan-wise. It's just most of the early game is going to be spent maneuvering. So we'll just have to see how the rest of that plays out. I'm also a little concerned about the little squeeze-through position here. But looking at the map, you're starting to see Op4 set their forces up here. They got to be careful, though, because some of this area is quite tight. So they might just stick to the trail up here instead. But beyond that, looking up north, I mean, the BRDM's still moving around right here. BRDM shitbox position. I love it. But yeah, they were expecting Blue 4 to be a little more aggressive on the north. So the BRDM is up there basically to harass and try to pull attention away. Now.
Gotta love some PvP action while eating some food.
Righto, Jimbo. What are you eating, man? I'm going to have, Bloodwind's going to make fajitas tonight, which I'm very excited for. She marinated a whole flank steak. So we're going to have, basically beef fajitas. I'm really excited for that. But what are you munching on, my man? I'm very passionate about food, personally. Just one of my go-tos. So I was in culinary school before I met Bloodwayne, and then I left culinary school to pursue something else because, you know, chefs don't really have a lot of time to be at the house. And nowadays, I am pretty much a house husband as I do YouTube, but I wouldn't have it any other way. It's pretty fun. Besides, I can have the side chicks over. Either way, we're watching the lead vehicle drive up this route. Other Vics are going to be following suit. I'd imagine some of the Vics back here might have stopped to deploy a UAV to go check out their terrain here. But they're starting to get close to the squeeze-through position here, so I'll be curious to see what they do with that. Because some of these areas are pretty tight for vehicles, but they're doing their best. That one, yeah, just bypass on the left side. But yeah, just staying in the low ground here to avoid detection. I mean, it's pretty smart. They're literally just driving up a riverbed right now. Now, if I recall correctly, though, in DayZ, this riverbed actually does have water running through it. So I guess it's just a dry season on the server right now. Oh, God. You know, that looked like something a little bit different, but yeah, here's the squeeze-through point. Oh, man. I mean, it worked. Also, I can barely hear them. I can't make out what they're saying, but they are speaking from within the car. And you see their lips moving, too. Marking go around the bridge. Yeah, so who's their commander? TK Llama probably went into this scenario and like pre-mapped everything out for his side, which was pretty smart. We're only 10 minutes into early game here. Chicken kebab wrap? Nice. Hot or cold? And did you put a sauce in it like a aioli or a mayo? Either way, pretty good choice. Because kebab, it would have this one white sauce, like it's yogurt based, but I can't remember the name of it. At least for authentic kebab. I just cannot remember the name of it right now for the life of me. By the way, this point vehicle, they're going to do a dismount right here and then a force split. See, no Blue 4 is back here, so that's going to catch Blue 4 off guard, because I think Op 4 might split its force here, but that might also mean that Op 4 attacks this position with an inadequate force, but Blue 4 has a good chunk of their force outside of this AO here. So this is shaping up to be anyone's game, but a slight Op 4 advantage because they're going to be able to back cap the chapel. So Ilbenex radioing up to say it's clear. Now the rest of the force is going to be squeezing through all this, but they are still pretty badly separated. BRDM, I'm wondering if it'll start encroaching to the south, but they're constantly updating their position as well on the map to let their friendlies know where they are. Now I want to check on Despo's position because he's the general. He is up on this back hill, waiting it out in the MRAP. The MRAP's a good spot for him to be in because it is, you know, mine-resistant ambush protected. That is what MRAP means, but that can take an AAT round from an RPG, for example, and still survive and be able to drive out of there, unless they hit the wheel. But that's a good spot to be in either way. So I'd imagine that first team's going to dismount around. Really great spread of a formation here to make sure they're clear, but from here it's... Oh, it's going to be a very dastardly back cap here, because right where they're going is where Blue Force set up some of their lines too, which is pretty interesting. So they're going to have some immediate fortifications to work with to come in here. So it's really lining up to be OFCRA's game. But at the end of the day, it's going to fall to the PvP. I love how there's some kayaks in here. That's cute. Alright. So OFCRA's probably going to spend another 3 to 4 minutes getting the rest of their forces there and deploy them en masse. But yeah, early game, sometimes you see it fully exploiting just maneuvering tactics. Forces getting into position for that mid-game fight. And I think that's exactly what this round is going to be. Mayo, cheese, and lettuce? Yeah, it's not bad, Jimbo. Keeping it light? That's fair. I'm trying to do the same with myself. I'm already, I've been on a diet for a few weeks. Already lost 9 pounds when I weighed myself 5 days ago. So, just trying to keep on track. But Bloodwing gives fairly big portions. So I always have to avoid that. So I didn't have breakfast or lunch today. So the whiskey sour I just had is my calories for that. And then dinner will be dinner. And I'll get on the treadmill we have in the basement to burn any additional off. Keep everything simple. Tiberius, I am A-OK. We're just waiting out this OFCRA match. So far, OPFOR is deploying itself in the forest here. We might see them utilize their 50 cal and AGS VIX here. But until then, you're hearing a lot of fortifications being dug here, as OPFOR waits for the rest of their force to come in. But this BRDM has slowly been moving around, checking where they perceive enemy positions are. Because again, I was on OPFOR side. I killed myself to get a spectator interface because they didn't have any dedicated slots. But one of the advantages with it, other than the disadvantage of the different mechanic controls, which makes my camera movement a little more janky, is we can see OPFOR's active marks in real time. Now here's something interesting. Blue Force moving a truck down right here. So they might be moving to take the chapel because we have this other team coming over to take the chapel here. They're driving around. So now this is going to be a fortified position, which is going to make OPFOR's job a little harder to get up there if they are going to do a force split from here, which looks like they are going to plan to do. But we've got 3 different maneuvers going here from this position, so it looks like a 2/3 of the force is going to be heading to the objective that has to be captured by the 50-minute mark, and then 1/3 is going to head up to the chapel position. What's the difference between OFCRA and FNF? Vastly different player bases. I want to say there's like a 10 to 20% overlap of players that play both in OFCRA and FNF, but that's really it in terms of that. So people like Desvo, Vexen, Sayak, Tackleberry, those guys, I think, play in both. But beyond that, FNF has 3 rounds of 50 minutes with a 15-minute safe start. OFCRA has an hour-and-a-half single round with an 8-minute safe start. OFCRA also tends to have more powerful vehicles and statics to be used day-to-day, or I guess week-to-week, technically. Such as tow missile platforms, grenade machine guns, BMP-2s with actual autocannons, compared to FNF, which usually doesn't do that stuff. However, both sides I have seen use planes in the past with various weaponry. But FNF seems to be a little more defensive about that stuff, mainly focusing on the infantry combat, whereas OFCRA, it is quite possible to go ham with the vehicle. Now, because it's a bigger match as well, OFCRA tends to have bigger AOs for their rounds compared to FNF. But I've also seen some pretty major-sized AOs for FNF as well. But usually, FNF AOs are smaller because they have a little over half the time. You know, again, 50 minutes to an hour and a half. But Nemesis is, he's played in both, so he can do a good job of explaining it. He was an administrator for FNF. But I believe he did step down from that. But yeah, he'd be able to define it pretty well as well. Otherwise, now you're starting to see forces deployed here as OFCRA has fully regrouped their forces at the... OPFOR, not OFCRA, has regrouped their forces on this rally point, sending one squad up, another squad here, another follow-up team there, and now you're going to start seeing forces move south and some more move north as well. I'm going to be really curious if we do not see the AGS Land Rover move into support, because that grenade machine gun could be exceptionally useful for this scenario. It could be possible they're holding it on reserve, but I doubt it. But as someone that likes to have the player base use a lot of assets within some of their Zeus-offs, personally, I get a little scared when I see players try to trek it out on their own as infantry, because vehicle support, you'd be surprised how useful it is. Even if it doesn't fire a shot, it is still a threat that pulls people's attention away. And in that brevity of people's attention being shifted, someone could make a maneuver that changes the entire game. Never know how that could work. Hotshot, if you had to drop it on your side, that means your internet's being wonky, because I have no dropped frames on my end. We always stream on 1080 because I'm able to upload at gigabyte. I've got gigabyte internet, so my upload is nearly second to none at this point. So that would just be your personal connection, I'm sorry to say, buddy. But yeah, quality check and everything looks good. So I think that's just on you, man. I mean, yeah, so OFCRA had jet dog fighting in a mission about a month and a half ago. FNF, though, had some World War II dog fighting between some Zeros and some Hellcats from the Faces of War mod, because they were doing their third and final week of FNF World War II. Speaking of, tomorrow we'll be going back to modern day stuff, which could be quite interesting. It'll also probably bring out a lot of people, because I know some people don't like World War II PvP, so they, you know, just don't show up for that period, and then they'll come back. So we could very well have a full 124 player thing for FNF, which would be nice. Whew. Here, real quick. I'm just gonna have a sip of water. Alright, so you're starting to see OPFOR continue to deploy themselves. We're at the 21-minute mark. Well, about to enter it, 6 seconds away. So early game, I think, is going to be fully committed to maneuvering. Maybe by the end of early game, you'll start seeing some OPFOR forces getting the jump on Blue 4 positions. But at this point, based off of where Blue 4 is, they have to wonder where the hostile forces are coming from. Now, they might have gotten eyes on this BRDM randomly maneuvering around, because it's in an open field right now, just kind of chilling. But, Blue 4 all the way up here might not have gotten eyes on it, because you got a little bit of a hill right there.
Hope to see a new SCP op soon.
But otherwise, let me go ahead and mute my mic, because people are going to start dying soon. But, how do I pronounce this? Viva la Demon. You will see an SCP op this Sunday at 1 p.m. through my own server framework. Slotting for that op through my Discord framework opens up, I believe, at 1 p.m. tomorrow on Friday. It'll just be a nice little spooky op. Not really, I guess, yeah, not really an SCP op, more of just a general horror op, because it's just, a local sheriff's department trying to find a missing person, but it'll have its own little bit of spook. But usually when people talk to me about SCP ops, they use the term SCP and horror ops interchangeably, but you might not want to be, you might not be one of those people, so. SCP op in itself, like a dedicated SCP campaign, I have no ETA. Because I got other stuff to work with. Scandy Recall me back strong. Righto, Nam. I can't wait to see you guys tomorrow. Gunshot. It was to our left, somewhere over here. I doubt Blue 4 got their eyes on Op4 coming up. Otherwise, we'd be hearing more. So I think that was just an accidental misfire. Still got forces around here, but again, they're looking in all the different directions because they don't know where things are. Ah, they might have shot this window out just so they can be able to see and shoot out of it, because you notice, I mean, compared to everything else, there's no window in this position here. Falcon, I would disagree with that statement about the pilot skill actually matters between World War II and jet pilots, because we had a jet PvP fight in OFCRA, and the skill definitely fucking mattered. And there were people that made, you know, single mistakes and lose their craft. It happens. You had to manually drop the frames. Well, the thing is, it's still internet-related, Hotshot, because you have to control the influx of your frames, which means your internet cannot keep up with the output of the server. So if you have to manually drop the frames, you're limiting the amount of frames that come in on your side because your bandwidth of your personal connection can't handle the connection. So that's what I was getting at. Hitman, thanks for the raid, my man. What were you playing? Again, we are on a 2-minute delay, but hey, you know, 2 minutes is 2 minutes. Speaking of, ooh. Sixor here is holding. He's got a mini-me, basically a 249. This could be where first contact comes in because we got Villar coming up. He's radioing for his truck, and Sixor might have a shot on him in a second. Again, you got these Stanag 5.56 AKs. I can hear Makarov ringing somewhere. And I'm hearing some other gunshots. Ah, it might be right here because Op4 and Blue 4 might be getting into each other. So we'll see. That Vic might actually turn around to assist with the engagement back there. But now at the 26-minute mark? No, 24-minute mark of early game, you are starting to see some early skirmishes start up. This purple force is going to head all the way around. It's probably going to be... It might be useful towards the end of the fight, but... Yeah, the real fights are going to be right here. This team is outnumbered, though, by this defensive group. Some of them started turning around, hearing those distant gunshots. This group, though, is going to be the largest one. But its only real threat is going to be what's over to its south and the actual defensive position in itself. This garrison might come back south, though, so we'll just have to see how that all plays out. Alright, so you got an MRAP pulling away. That's Vexen knocking over some trees, trying to get out of here. Giovanni trying to set up a shot, not realizing he's got guys right on top of his position to his left. Got another MRAP deploying over on the far left. That is the General. That's Despo, so he's trying to get out of there because if Op4 kills him, they get 2 points. So Giovanni, I think, is going to be ambushed here in a second. If Op4 decides to take this position... Oh. Despo has to run on foot because his MRAP was having some technical issues there. Op4 isn't going to catch him in time. And Zeron sees Giovanni and I think takes him out. Yep, there he goes. Solopol runs up to check him. Still a little bit of defrolate cover, so Adri doesn't see him. But yeah, I got Op4 coming around right here. David spots Kingus. A little bit of desync there. But Blue 4 gets annihilated. And knocked uncon. Some grenades are thrown. Blue 4 sending their entire garrison force up to counterattack. And there are the double taps. Meanwhile, looks like Op4 setting up a battle position for this other area. We still have Vex and Up quickly checking all these positions. Vex is a pretty good player, but if he gets jumped... Ooh, little messy right there. Vex gets a kill, but is outflanked and knocked away by Zeron's handgun. Looking over at this force over here. OFCRA have conducted a pretty good ambush and are eliminating a lot of Blue 4's forces here. It's just Ezio on that position. You got Callie on the 50 cal of this Vic. Excuse me, this is... I think that's a 12.7. It's, gosh, I forgot the designation. It's not a Dishka. It could be the KPVT gun on top, but it's, you know, it's still an anti-material machine gun there. Ooh, it's got a quick fire rate. That's firing overhead, trying to suppress whatever's in this smoke over here. Meanwhile, Blue 4 now pushing up this hill that OFCRA controls over at the other position. Is Despo still alive? He is. Remember, he is the objective. Hey, righto, Hitman. I'm glad you're enjoying the game, man. Gaming's all about having fun, no matter how you play it. As long as you're having fun, that is all that matters. But meanwhile, OPFOR pushing a lot of forces up this forested position. Blue 4 only having about 9 defenders. I think OPFOR will be able to take that area before Blue 4 realizes they need to push further forces in. So BRDM's now coming around on the northern side, could make it up to the chapel position, but OPFOR is in a very good position right now to win this fight. So there's a little bit of delay on my markers here. Again, that's just the other spectator interface. So if we'll just blue on blue pingus. Yeah, it happens. Fog of War is indeed a bitch. Great grenade throw. That hurt Newton, but they saw it coming, so they tried to pull back, but that grenade bouncing downhill is going to be quicker than their feet. So otherwise, they are doing their best to hold here. You got Adrui with that marksman rifle, trying his best to take shots out. He gets hit a few times. I think his bullets were clipping on the rock there. Meanwhile, it looks like this Vic has now pulled back because of the amount of fire it was taking. And now you got OPFOR doing this massive smoke push. They could vault this wall, but that's a very risky thing to do because you got Blue 4 defending all this area, but you're seeing grenades being thrown in here as they're trying to pick off any Blue 4 guys that are exposed. That's going to force Blue 4 to hunker down in these buildings, which allows OPFOR more room to push in. Now you got Popsy here covering this wall. He knows OPFOR might try to vault this position. He might also be able to look over. He gets Magicorosaurus there through this little slit. Now you got Novak here trying to get some hits with a marksman rifle, but he's unable to because Blue 4 folds in a little bit closer to their position to cover in that 2-story building. Now, OPFOR on the northern side of this town, they might get a great ambush on Blue 4 because they're trying to look in to provide overwatching assistance to the defensive AO. You also have that 3-man garrison that was on this building still over here as OPFOR pretty much bypassed their position. So we'll try to see where the rest of OPFOR folds in on. Otherwise, OPFOR over here has made a little bit of a fatal mistake by splitting their force, leaving one fire team on defense as this entire Blue 4 squad pushes up. The other half of that squad, that other fire team, is coming around, potentially to come in on the northern side of this chapel. A little bit of a mistake, in my opinion. OPFOR had the high ground here. They could have held it, but now they've allowed Blue 4 to get up and establish a foothold here, making this firefight that much more difficult. So whoever takes the initiative of getting the high ground here and looking at the opposite force and getting some early headshots in will probably be the victor, but it can go any way on that side. Meanwhile, BRDM pushing into the chapel, not finding anything but Blue 4 have 3 guys here and allowed that BRDM to bypass. I see a little bit of battle damage on that BRDM. It might have hurt itself earlier. Otherwise, let's look over at this cemetery fight because this is where the main AO Okay. All right. Yeah. Yeah. I don't know. I generally don't know. That's a new one. I don't know why the kayak's doing that, but we're just gonna play it off. We're just gonna play it off. Cool. Arma 3, ladies and gentlemen. AT coming in, but OFCRA coming in to flank this blue 4-4. He's got NASA counter pushing here. He's going to utilize the smoke grenade, get a line of a headshot on Gregory. And there it is. Malgrim, though, coming on the rear of NASA. Does he spot him? No, but NASA's going to spot Malgrim. Does he? He does a quick reload. Malgrim doesn't notice NASA. NASA steps up, does a spray there, hits Malgrim multiple times, and Malgrim doesn't realize what's hit him. Blue 4 still have a lot of forces on the outside they could push in, but it is looking worse and worse for Blue 4 here at this point. NASA, meanwhile, taken out by Adamek, flanking around with a suppressed gun. Got Doritos now looking back, I think tried to put a shot on Adamek, but he quickly runs to cover. Wow, no, he got him. Adamek down now by a great sideways shot by Dorito there. Otherwise, OFCRA doing their best to push in. Blue 4 down to 6 defenders. OFCRA still strong with at least double that defensive count. Now, Blue 4 might have a decent defensive advantage here. OFCRA being incredibly cautious. This assault has been a bit costly, but attackers will always take more casualties than the defenders because the defenders have that entrenchment. But that BRDM repositioning to do Overwatch in this AO could really help out the attackers here by cutting off the potential for Blue 4 to send their QRF in. Meanwhile, speaking of that QRF, on the northern side that was pushing in, now it is instead focusing its attention on the western side of the town of Sosnovka, and it's going to try to help the defending force here clean out the remaining OFCRA guys to alleviate one more flank coming in for the OFCRA side. However, I'm not sure how effective that is going to be. Adamek waking back up. Dorito still down in this position. No, he is unconscious now, possibly flanked by Kuwait or Malgrin running in. You're hearing RPGs fired up to this position as Blue 4 is only down to a handful of defenders here. But this fight is only stalling any QRF that could come in to assist this position. So your RPG gunner down here is Carlos, who already has 2 kills. Good for him. Otherwise, he is firing at what he can here. Doritos wakes back up, and these smoke grenades are obstructing Kuwait and Malgrim's visuals here. Oh! Carlos firing those RPGs a little high here. It looks like it hit Malgrim a little bit. You see a blood splatter there indicating damage. But otherwise, you still have OFCRA trying to come around. Looks like they're engaging some Blue Force defenders up in this forested position. It's hard to tell if they were directly engaging because they both only have some simple rifles here. One is a suppressed one, but they might not have the magnified optics to actually deal with that position. But the perception for OFCRA is that this other half of the attacking force is getting pinned by forces on the force, so they're unable to focus on the interior defense here, which has left the other half of this OFCRA team to flounder about. They're down to 4 people, whereas Blue 4 only lost 1 guy. They're down to 5. I did just see a grenade go off, and it did kill somebody, though. So that could have been a GP25 system or any sort of GL, or that might have been Peppa here getting a nice kill with his marksman rifle. The checks are Blue 4. No, the checks are OFCRA, the Polish are Blue 4. So at the technically, I believe, 58-minute mark, because it was an 8-minute safe start, that's when this area will be decided. But OFCRA getting reinforced as the BRDM also pushes in. I think this Blue 4 AO is eventually going to fold. Meanwhile, those 3 defenders on the building right here are trying to fold in. They will run into an OFCRA QRF group as they try to push this attacking force from the rear. BRDM knocks over multiple walls here to allow additional QRF to push in here. Rixu still trying to hold this building on his own as we're down to 4 defenders. Ilbanek trading rounds with Lcpl, but neither side able to get a kill here. Lcpl definitely took a lot of damage. I saw Ilbanek get hit. Lcpl now trying to push out with that Polish-made PKT. I forget the exact name for it. but it does damage. Has heard some sort of AT round get launched. That fired up over onto Blue 4's position. Otherwise, they're still holding this area. I got the sound of the 12.7 Humvee down there. That was under Polish control, but now all the guys are dead. Dorito's still trying to hold that line. You still got 3 guys up there, but Op4, I say it's only a matter of time before they take that position. I don't think Blue 4 has the manpower to retake it on top of that point. Looking over at the other AO real quick, this is the AO that will get calculated by the end of the round. Op4 and Blue 4 have been kind of dancing around each other, but looks like Op4 is whittled down to a few less guys as Blue 4 controls this one hill. Jordan might try to make a play. Otherwise, Ilbanek looks like he woke back up. And he is trying to come in. You're hearing AT getting fired. That was being fired at the group of Op4 infantry coming down over on to the first objective. And Ilbanek doing his best to bandage as Blue 4 holds this one position. Again, pardon my camera work. We're using a different type of spectator interface because I had to kill myself to get the spectator interface instead of having to dedicate spectator slot. So it gives me a different type of spectator menu. One is Aces, one is the base games. I don't know which is which. I just know I prefer the spectator slots because they seem to have the better one in terms of camera control. Yeah, because I'm used to holding Alt to stabilize my camera, but this one, it makes your camera speed out, which is why I keep doing that. Otherwise, BRDM is pushing around right here, trying to get some pickoffs. These walls have knocked over in a pretty funny way. You still have the freaking kayak there going balls to the wall. So with that 14.5 millimeter, it can penetrate into the buildings and cause damage, but it looks like the one defender in this building has been taken out. And one of the defenders in this building was also taken out. So it's just up to Yuru here to hold. But even if he does, Op4 outnumber them in this sector, and whoever gets the points goes to the side that has more manpower in the AO itself. So this is looking like a solid Op4 victory here, but the Blue 4 counterattack could prove nicely here. We also have to keep checking to see if Despo is alive. He is worth points to either side, depending on if he is brought to the final sector or killed, or at least kept alive. Looks like Desync has stabilized on the server. I think it was just a matter of a lot of players, but also when you do shit like this and the game has to constantly recalculate the physics, that will desync the server a little bit because the server is forced to make those calculations. Meanwhile, BRDM firing at a friendly position. Unsure if they got any kills. That would be really unfortunate to see. But more, yep, he is an Op4 player, so a little bit of red on red there. But Ilbanek is now trying to see what else he can take out. The last defender is in that building. We'll see what they calculate. So Blue 4 still have their 3 defenders in here. Op4's down to 3 attackers. Blue 4 still pulling their forces on the northern side. Blue 4 also has that 3-man pocket who's decided to go into the town of Zelenogorsk instead of following up that forested area there. And now you're having some fire coming up to the northern QRF. You've got some SU-230 scopes firing up at that position. They're following their own tracers here as they try to take out anyone else coming in. You still got Yuru holding that one position. Op4, meanwhile, now pushing in from the north on this position over here. They've made it right up to this Blue 4 defensive line. Whereas Blue 4, I think, is actually this marksman shooting at his own guys. He takes a shit ton of bullets. And Viller takes a second to calculate he's dead. Viller took a second. His battle buddy's also down. And this guy's also taking a lot of fire, and he's not really realizing what's going on. As Op4 now pushes his position, Blue 4 forced to reload. Op4 now forced to reload. Another smoke grenade going out, a frag grenade going out. What is going on here? Huh. That happens. I feel like some people are turning on some lag switches here, but... well, I stand corrected. That was an adorable little firefight. Oh, no, so there are some Op4 guys right here that are pinned down. here, Funny's doing his best to fire on his own guys. We just saw a Blue 4 guy get blown away. There goes Ant. But yeah, it was 2 guys up there that I think Zeron was able to take out. Now a shit ton of smoke's gone on that position. Woo. All right, Op4 down to 2 guys over here. Blue 4 still maintaining their 3. Dorito on 2. Ash on 1 with that SVD. Yuru's still alive, but I think numbers-wise, looking at the roster, look at all those skulls on Blue 4 and look at all these skulls on Op4. Op4 has more forces on the ground at this point. 7 minutes till that 50-minute mark is calculated, but it's looking good for Op4. They just have to transition their force over to this other position here and continue to deal with this small Blue 4 force here. But now Op4 has the number advantage, and they'll probably get an idea of where they're being attacked from. As I was speaking, Yuru seems to have been taken out by Ilbanek up here, who's on 4 kills. Good for him. I would say in PvP, you always at least want to get 2 kills, because that gives you a positive KD, that gives you a positive contribution. If you can do 2 kills, you've done your job. Yeah, now you got other Op4 players being very cautious moving around here as they try to figure out where everyone else is. Looks like the BRDM moved up. Aja is dead within it. I think they demoed this, which caused a secondary explosion to happen and kill him. But Doritos is still alive, which I find quite funny. So we have about 36 minutes left in this game. We are about to enter late game in those 6 minutes. And wow, that SVD gunner just blew out the other Op4 guy here. I believe that was Ash, yeah. Great double tap on the 2nd story of this building. Really well hidden in that position too. Very tough to see him. But yeah, Op4 have total control of this southern position. I don't see that being challenged. Blue 4 still up here. I don't really understand where they're maneuvering. They might actually be a bit lost because that barn area isn't going to offer any tactical control. This is around Slovinsky. Fun fact again, you'll see me pass by these when I do the little DayZ loot runs I like. But beyond that, there's not really anything here for them. Op4, meanwhile, down to 6 guys over here. They're folding forces in. Despo has to be in the church by the hour 20-minute mark for Blue 4 to score a point. But let me go ahead and look at his position real quick. He is over here on the southern side. He's basically waiting for his forces to clear that position out so he can move in. Interesting. Now we're going to have 3 minutes of just waiting for things to go out. Adamek, I don't think I caught what killed you either, buddy. I'm sorry to say. I know normally you do well in FNF. Excuse me, OFCRA, my bad. FNF 2 you do pretty well too, though. But, I mean, this has been a pretty brutal round. There's been a little bit of desync here and there. But you went 1-on-1, so you went even. But let me see, where did you... are you in this northern town? Yeah, so this northern town has been a bit of a hellhole. For both sides. Blue 4 have been able to maintain this 3-man garrison. They had QRF coming around. Looks like Blue 4, I know what they're doing. They got these 2 vehicles. They're going to pick up these guys. They're going to pull over to the chapel area and try to recapture it. Because they're conceding this first precipitary area for Op4 to get those 4 points. You got 3, but 1 was a TK. Nice. But yeah, Op4 still have a massive numeric advantage here. Maybe if Blue 4 can retake the chapel position with minimal casualties, they'll stand a good chance, but it's a tough call. Op4, I mean, they had a really great plan here, though, so it's not surprising to see them on top on this position here. TK Llama is still at the original dismount point, coordinating his forces. But yeah, in 1 more minute, we'll see this area get calculated. But I honestly think the desync is because of this, because this thing's constantly even having to recalculate its position. Because I feel like these had their simulation disabled. So causing this is why there's a little bit of desync on the server. So you got that Southern three-man garrison that's over here. It's come around and now it's harassing this OFCRA position. Otherwise, TK 92,785. Thank you so much for the resub, my man. I hope you keep enjoying the operations, and I do hope you get a nice kick out of this little scenario. Ooh, Malgrim. He hears the footsteps in here. He's going to try to pick off who he can. He just saw a guy up there. He just saw Doritos there. Doritos did a little bit of a delayed shooting there. Now I'm doing a quick reload. Might have just gotten some shots on Doritos, but yeah, he's definitely doing some harassment around here. I think Doritos is fine. Yeah, he's in the low corner right there. Just waiting them out. Malgrim, he's going to pick up AT. He's going to shoot the AT into that building. I guarantee it. That three-man group took a casualty. They're pulling back. That's great for OFCRA to be able to repel that attack. And you're going to see the calculations of those 4 points any second now. And this group's already starting to head over to this OFCRA garrison, which has been whittled down to 4 guys. There's the AT firing. But Blue 4 is down to 5 guys up there. So a little more even of a fight. But OFCRA, if they're able to quickly reinforce, that's all they need. And meanwhile, Blue 4 is sticking there with their Vix. Don't know what they're waiting on. Malgrim now trying to get some shots on Dorito. But more players are coming out. Sky Online doing a really smart thing, coming around with the outflank. Doritos is down. Malgrim trying to get the flank here. Malgrim spots Sky Online as he's in the middle of a reload, realizes he's being flanked. Malgrim gonna now try to get on the high ground, over the wall to spot Sky Online. Unable to, because Sky Online decides to push. Really great plays here by both sides. I think Malgrim was trying to get a few shots into the smoke. Sky Online coming back around, taking multiple hits here from Malgrim. Doesn't realize he's being engaged from that angle. And Malgrim's trying to unload his handgun, but somehow Sky Online jukes him. I'm gonna level with you. I don't know how that played out that way, but it played out that way, and I guess that's what we got. That was an interesting one, to say the least. I'll write that one down, because that was pretty funny. And there is the points being tallied. It was an 8-minute safe start, and you have OFCRA gaining those first 4 points. So OFCRA with a 4-point lead. We'll see how things go. But Blue 4, I think, down to only 2. Nope, they still have their 3rd defender up there as well. You got this OFCRA force coming around. OFCRA now need to rally their forces here and push in to the next area. Looks like they're still shooting to the south. I don't think it's directly at that Blue 4. It might be, actually. Oh, yeah, it actually might be. All the way down there. But now OFCRA has to basically get out of this position. Ooh, no, we got a transport truck and a Humvee that they could potentially steal and use to drive up to this other OFCRA position. They still got 4 defenders right here. They're covering the church itself to deny the general from moving into this position. And they got some Blue 4 guys on the outskirts. So we'll see OFCRA remount. Not remount. They're gonna. Those are Blue 4 Vics. So they're gonna basically steal those and move in with them. So both sides still have their officer alive. I will say for both FNF and OFCRA, usually by the end game point, which it's still technically mid-game for this, because by the hour 8-minute mark we'll go to end game, because that's how we divide things. But, you know, considering one objective's been done, when leadership isn't alive, it tends to be a free-for-all with squad leaders making plans and trying to coordinate with other squad leaders. But by now, you know, some squads might have lost their long-range capability, but because OFCRA is still pretty grouped up here, they can grab Vics and move out at their earliest convenience. So this is going to be marked as a Blue 4 Vic on the map because it was originally Blue 4 Vic, but OFCRA is going to be taking control and moving that vehicle in. So I don't know. Blue 4 is down to 3 pockets of infantry here, here, and here. Actually, 4. With this being the largest group up on the northern side, whereas OFCRA is down to 3 groups with their commander outside of them, with the largest one being that previous AO. And one Vic just took off. I'm not sure. I would take this Vic, but I guess it's disabled. Because otherwise, you know, just moving a transport truck to a position you already have cleared, and you have an infantry squad pushing through, and we have people getting into it now. So yeah, they should be mounting up, basically following the infantry route, dismounting with them, and then pushing into the final objective with that. Blue 4 is taking this position, so they should smoke their own vehicle and move on. Oh yeah, a lot of Arma BS, guys. Again, I think it's honestly because of this. You'd be surprised, but the server having to recalculate all of those actually will freak the server out a little bit. They're blindly suppressing up there because they know they're taking fire from that position. Yeah, so they're gonna pick up TK Llama. But, I guess Ilbanek didn't notice TK Llama needed a ride. Alright, Blue 4 still down to 5 guys up there. OPFOR holding their entire force on the chapel. And now we pretty much have 36.5 minutes to figure this out. But Blue 4 sending their forces down to counterattack. Could run into this OPFOR position here, and those infantry could get an ambush in play. But you got a few OPFOR guys kind of pinned down over here as the other truck moves out. I guess they moved over to get into a better position, but now they need to smoke themselves to let the rest of the infantry come up, but at least they're providing a distraction for this infantry group to come around as well. I want to quickly look at this OPFOR group to see their positioning. Not close enough to engage each other. And Blue 4 still have a 7.62 by 54 gun here. That might be 5.1 because you know, this country has NATO standards. So, you know, by 5.1 NATO for that PKP styled gun. An explosion going off right in the middle of Blue 4. Look at all this blood. All of that blood trail there. So it looks like some of them might have been wounded by that, and they're pulling away. So another GL get fired. That is OPFOR firing those GLs up there. I'm seeing that Blue 4 is moving along this position. That one was short, unfortunately. Ooh, what is this? You got some OPFOR guys and one of their Vics coming up. You got another Vic coming along the road. But they see that this is a Blue 4 Humvee dismounted. Oh, now you got a 50 cal firing. He's caught in a bad position here as the other Blue 4 guy tries to engage him. Ilbanek now providing cover. Seeing where those bullets came from. Dismounts TK Llama, OPFOR ground command. And he's going on the offensive. Meanwhile, it looks like that Blue 4 dismounted on the northern side, spotted this OPFOR group, and they're starting to engage them. Let's go ahead and have a look at that. Ooh, these are the Special Forces guys, too, so you hear the suppressors firing off. It's basically a battle around this bridge point. OPFOR caught in the open here, taking multiple casualties. You got Micah here in a little bit of cover from the train track. But this OPFOR group has taken quite a bit of damage here as they have 3 people out of the 5 down. Great call there. The rest of OPFOR is maneuvering around. Meanwhile, OPFOR also coming around trying to avoid that 2-man position as Blue 4 blindly suppresses them. They did take out their means of escape, though, by destroying their Vic, forcing them to walk the rest of the way. But these guys might try to find a position, then drive into this chapel area as these 4 guys continue to hold. However, those 4 guys are going to be overwhelmed by this 5-man team coming in. The Special Forces team of, I believe, 7 at this point, coming around on the right side, which means they'll be able to hold, but OPFOR still have a lot of guys to take this area. They have a 2-man force back here, and they have this other 3-man force coming around, but OPFOR have the numbers. But if that Special Forces team keeps operating the way it has, Jiwi has woken up only to be shot again we could still see an upset here as long as the general stays alive and he is delivered to the chapel at the 1:28-minute mark. And then by 1:38, the mission will end, and whoever has more people in that other area will win. So the general is the main focus here. Despo, not the best position to hide in, but it gives him a good overwatch point of seeing everything in there so he can personally assess when to push in and when not to. Kurt PKM to 762 and then to design a new LMG. Yeah, that's what I figured. So it's a 7. Yeah, so it would still be a 54 then, if I remember correctly. Unless they made it a 39. And, but yeah. Let's see. Unless it's a 5-1. I don't know. Either way. Now it's just a waiting game. You're seeing Blue Force starting to mount their assault over here. Minos has a -1. That's not good. Top 4 of this 4-man team. They're still firing GLs up here. Blue Force took a casualty from that. And Sid gets shot in the back a few times there. Knocked out, still alive. You're hearing Blue Force fire some GLs here, but now the other side of the pincer is starting to push in. Another AT round fired. Minimal damage. Actually damages that bell tower a little bit, believe it or not. Ooh! Hits the front of the trench, minimal damage. But you got OFCRA coming out of their positions here, exposed by the Special Forces, and they are cut down. Oh, as soon as you leave your position of cover. And the other 2 are down too. So Blue 4 lost 2, but took out 4. That is a great ratio here. They are still in the game. Meanwhile, you got OFCRA coming down with a Blue 4 truck. Hopefully OFCRA doesn't red on red their own force there. Oh, I don't think you're going to see any wake-ups here. You're getting the double taps now, and Blue 4 have secured the endgame position. Again, OFCRA has 4 points on the board, but securing this position at the end will give Blue 4 4 points, and if they get Despo in this position, they get a point, and if Despo is still alive by the end of the game, they get another point. But if OFCRA is able to kill Despo, they get 2 points. So at this point, is it smarter to keep Despo out of the church area, instead in a position away from the AO to maintain the 1 point of him surviving? Or risk it and go for 2 in case Blue 4 gets knocked down to the supremacy bonus of having 5 or less players. Mathematically, they have 5 people out of the AO right now, so even if that garrison fully falls, they won't lose the supremacy points to OFCRA. Again, a reminder of how that works is if Blue 4 goes down to 5 or less players, OFCRA gains 2 points, and vice versa for OFCRA. If they get knocked down to 5 or less players, Blue 4 gains 2 points. I don't think that's going to happen for OFCRA because they have such a significant number advantage here. But it did get whittled away a little hard there. Let's do a quick head count. Let's see if I'm talking out of my ass. 3, 6, 9, 12, 15, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21. Blue 4 down to 2, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16. So 16 to 21. Not as much as I thought it was, but that's also because OFCRA just lost 4 guys. Only took, I think, 1 guy out, and the other guy, I think they're medicing back up right now. So I will say if Despo gets killed, OFCRA gains 2 more points, and then I think it's over at that point. Regardless of who controls the final sector, because Blue 4 will lose their ability to gain an additional 2 points unless they get the supremacy bonus. But at that point, it's just going to be a tie, in which case I just nullify the prediction. But with Despo right there, and OFCRA could breach that building, this might get messy. Oh, man, he's holding it. Oh, but Blue 4 with an ambush from the rear. OFCRA caught in the open. Desperately trying to smoke grenade here. I don't think there were any initial kills there in that first burst of rounds. But Despo turning around, getting a kill. Very risky. Demeter now checking his battle buddy's body. Despo, I think, pulled back. He might have taken some wounds there. Looking over here, OFCRA now firing into that Blue 4 position's fortification, buying some time for this flanking force to potentially come in. Carlos taking damage, gets knocked out from the machine gun. And Despo's making a run for it because he's the general. He doesn't want to get killed. He's the objective. He is worth points. But great job getting a lick in there. And he's going to go for more. Trying to hit Simon, who's put his lag switch on. Despo trying to throw some smokes. He's going to try to pull away a bit more. We are now officially in endgame, and this is going to be a spicy one. Yeah, I don't know what's up with Simon's connection, but he's rubber banding a bit there personally, so that's on his end. But Blue 4 in positions to ambush these OFCRA attacks. This could turn around, and we could see Blue 4 get the supremacy bonus. If they continue to pick off OFCRA where they can, that's going to deny OFCRA the advantage numerically to take that final sector. We've seen AT fired up in groups of OFCRA as well. They're doing everything they can. Look at all that blood. To get every single lick in possible. This is great. Alright, looking down here, you still have Carlitos bled out, or was that Carlos? I don't remember. Lakota is still in the open trying to pick off who he can. Kilo got knocked out, though. I doubt he's coming back. He's got all of his limbs have blood on him. Got Cheeseburger desperately trying to push in. He's got the LMG. This could really swing either way at this point, and that is exactly why I like to cover this shit. Because you don't know what the fuck's gonna happen at this point. So you got the LMG trying to line up shots on this bush to hit Dezo, but Dezo folds back. He's got some great concealment here, and that LMG is not known for its accuracy. A lot of defenders in that final sector, though. We'll see them potentially get thinned out. And the LMG manages to strike true here and kill the squad leader for this group, leaving the remaining 3 members pinned in here. Some of them starting to pick fights with that defensive sector. They do have a marksman, though, with that SR-25. And he gets a headshot. He's trying to go for the guy picking him up. But a marksman right here can make the difference. He's got a great line on this AO. And he is trying to pick off whoever he can at this point. Got TK Llama, the OPFOR commander, now heading down on his own. That could be costly, but Blue 4, I think, are too busy looking south and east at the moment because of other attack waves. You could see Llama get into a good position, do a good chunk of damage here. Meanwhile, OPFOR still have a lot of their groups pinned here. They've separated a bit more. They could easily defeat themselves in detail via sending smaller groups into the AO to be picked off by the larger Blue 4 garrison. So we got FAWR still up here. They're doing their best to suppress that position. Still taking hits, though. You see some blood splatter on the ground. But they got a marksman firing, and they're getting people knocked out. TK Llama with his garrison up there, hitting more people who are caught in the open. Rigel hit multiple times, crippled, still kicking. That was 5 hits. And he's still up. 6 hits. 7 hits. 7 hits, he goes down. Good God. The hitboxes in Arma, especially with a little bit of desync, get super freaking janky. All right, Despo has made it into the church area. He's going to stay low. Magnus has been brought back here. He is down. And you got Blue Fort desperately trying to hold the rest of this position. They have a few guys down right now that aren't actively kicking. So they're down 2, and Despo's hiding. So that's technically a -3 right now, active people. So 4, 9 mark, 10 marks. But yeah, so they're down to 7. Look at all that smoke to conceal their position because they have multiple marksmen trying to pick them off from various angles. OFCRA, I think, has gotten the number advantage back, but that could be knocked out soon because you got Cheeseburger and Paradise coming over with that LMG, and he might flank this position. You also got these 3 Blue 4 guys back here who haven't really been doing a lot of maneuvering, but they could get on top of this remaining OFCRA position and take out a lot of dudes, and that could turn the tide. Now you still have some OFCRA squad leaders here firing GLs into this compound. Wow! That just killed a dude. At least I thought it did. Was there not a symbol down here? Because I could have sworn there was a symbol down here that just disappeared. I could be wrong. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Okay, no, there wasn't. God damn it. I thought that GL nuked somebody, but at least he's doing damage to people that are still unconscious to verify that they're going to bleed out. Plus, he's forcing Blue 4 to fortify themselves, which is going to allow for OFCRA to maneuver in and get people closer in. But Cheeseburger is about to find someone. Oh, no. It's like those, you know when you assassinate someone in the Call of Duty game now and you have the option to give like a little custom finisher? That's pretty much what that was right there. Fuck's sake, Cheeseburger. Is he gonna do it to Nicker too? Oh, Nick, no. He's looking around. He sees people down there. He's pulling back a little bit. Yeah, so he's a little paranoid right now because he doesn't know where OPFOR is fully deployed. He could run up, do that to Nicker, go over, do it to Ivan. Messy. But yeah, OPFOR is trying to push in more forces here. It's a hit from the other side. 20 minutes remaining. 10 more minutes pass, and if Despo's still in the chapel area, he will gain additional 10 points. Then he just has to stay alive. He could just try to run out of the AO, but that might be too risky. Cheeseburger, meanwhile... Oh, no. He decides that's not a good vantage point to fire from. He could do some good damage here. He's trying to bipod the gun. He can't get a stable shot, though. He's got more Blue 4 guys coming up here. OPFOR pushing their 4 guys on the left. Still have a big chunk of guys on the right. They still have that garrison down in the south doing that marksman stuff. Blue 4, meanwhile, only has this 4-man team around on the back. There goes Ivan, and there goes Nicker. Cheeseburger now on 4 kills officially. Could go up and double tap Ivan to get 5. "19 minutes. There's the double tap, and there's 5 for Cheeseburger. Great plays there. FAWR, meanwhile, trying to move up further on this position. Shooting what they got. You got a double tap right there, so you got 2 over here. So 8 defenders remaining. If OPFOR can get some AT into this building, all the windows are blocked except from the front. They can do some serious damage here as well. You got Nubas firing some AT up at Ilbanek. But it looks like he was able to tank it. He's on 5 kills at the moment. Trying to pick off Mr. Dave. More AT fired. But it's going just past Ilbanek there. Now you got Sixor and TK Llama from MOR coming down. Nubass trying to noob tube him. Unable to land the shot. Got some grenades being thrown. But Nubass does have some fortifications there, so I think the trenches are going to catch some of it. I can't tell if that's his blood or someone else's blood, though. Cheeseburger. Oh, my God. This fucking man. 6-4, meanwhile, takes out Nubass. This fucking man. Literally looks up after seeing them and goes, ah. If he has some grenades, though. But yeah, he's getting right behind OPFOR's lines here. But he doesn't want to get into a position where he engages too much. But now you got OPFOR coming right on top of this position. 7 minutes remaining. 6-4 trying to fire in through the windows, but looks like this building has its sim disabled, so the windows aren't destroyable. But the table's in here at physics, as you can see that little wobbling. Yeah, so Martinez is trying to bait him. Ilvanek comes around, though, sees Martinez as he runs by. Just as Martinez pulls down. Oh, man, there goes one of the defenders. And the only guy he has defending them has a freaking marksman rifle. So Cheeseburger's done a massive flank around. 6-4 runs in. Ilvanek also coming. Oh, he's going to push with the 249. Oh, no! Despo clutches himself. Ilvanek trying his best to come in, but Ilvanek gets the general kill. I think that's GG. OPFOR has maintained and scored 2 points now. Not maintained. Scored 2 points for killing the officer. They got the original 4 points for taking the first zone. Even if Blue 4 keeps this zone, unless they get the supremacy bonus, Blue 4 can only tie at this point. But OPFOR sending all their forces into this position, I think it's GG. What a crazy run right there. Is Fact down? Yeah, so it's only Shea up right there. Both of these guys are pretty good. He's got a suppressed 249 or a mini-me. Either way, it's a 200 round 5.56 machine gun, and he has an RCO scope on that bitch. And you got these three guys now pinning those three guys over on the southern side as well. Bit of a marksman fight here. Blue 4 saw him first. I'm curious to see if anyone's gone down. So they're getting hits on Dorito, but he's got a really good tree. And the tree is literally making all the difference. He got hit a few times, though. So Martinez and Magnus, I think, also came in here. TK Llama is the general, though. Ilbanek, is he still up? No, I guess Ilbanek got taken out as this Blue 4 counterattack came in. Now it's just up to... Ooh, no, Shea got picked off, too. So you only have unconscious guys in here. Now OPFOR control the zone. So at this point, there's only 4 guys still up. OPFOR will also get the supremacy bonus because Blue 4's down to 5 or less players. So OPFOR's final total should be honestly a perfect score for controlling both areas, killing the general, and getting the supremacy bonus, which should be 12 points total. Blue 4 will get nothing unless they kill a few more OPFOR guys to get their supremacy bonus. But let's see, there are 4, 8, 9, 12 guys, so they'd have to kill 7 OPFOR guys remaining with only 4 guys active. I don't see it, but then again, Cheeseburger might come around and do something crazy, so... He's got 11 minutes, 15 seconds to do it. He does have the machine gun. He's got some good bipodding abilities here from this little ridge. Got a little bit of magnification. He is taking some active fire, though. He's looking. Trying to get Micah there. Doesn't. Now, you got to remember, when I do this type of spectating, it doesn't show 100% where the sight is lined up to where the gun's actually lined up and shooting. So if it looks off, it's not. It's just how this damn interface works. Gee-wee getting some hits in Cheeseburger, immediately making him get up and run. Oh, the remaining Blue 4 guys are going to mount up in a truck and Hail Mary it. And that's going to be fucking hilarious to watch. I still love that this thing's waddling right there. Alright, now we have a bit of a lull in the combat. These 3 guys are going to start folding in as well, but that is going to be pretty much it. Still hearing some gunshots. Not sure if they're shooting out windows because Blue 4 at this point has pulled back their remaining forces. I'd imagine... it's Micah here, I guess, suppressing Cheeseburger as he tries to reposition, but he's behind a tree right now. So he's calling that out. Cheeseburger is repositioning. Now you're going to start seeing that truck coming, so I'm going to stay on this interface on the map here as we wait this out. 11 minutes. Cheeseburger, I think you can still do a good outflank here, but it's very limited to what we have going. But as he does that, I'm going to grab a few things. So we also have the truck coming around. Hopefully Cheeseburger doesn't freak out and there's no blue on blue. That would be a little awkward to do at this stage. Truck's just coming down. All right. Yep, keep the general inside field by Blue 4 at the 1 hour, 20 minute mark. Now you got this truck going. Now is it going to dismount early or are they actually going to push in? Yep, they're going to dismount right on top of this position. GL's immediately being fired. Valiant effort by Ash. Unfortunately, he is cut down. Sky Online now coming in. Will he fare any better? I think the truck just exploded. Rizbo getting hit by a grenade. Sky Online desperately trying to move, and he's engaged by the flank, but he is in the zone. Still taking shots here. And he is cut down because he went at a bit of an awkward angle there. Ash still down. Doritos climbing over. Will he do it? He does not do it. Now it is just up to Cheeseburger. He's got 6.5 minutes to make a play. Let's see it. So he immediately takes fire. He folds into this fortified position. Comes out on the left. Ethan has a flanking shot on him. Does he take it? That's GG. OFCRA wins. Valiant effort by the surviving Blue 4 members, but that is it. We have an AI up there. That is it, ladies and gentlemen. All right. So I'm going to go ahead and pay out the prediction. Because, I mean, Blue 4, they only have an AI up there. Ash has been down for over a few minutes. He's not waking back up. And you have Fact of the House also down. I'm quickly looking to see if there's anyone else. There's a blank AI. Fact is still bleeding out. Another blank AI. Ash is still bleeding out. But that is all she wrote, so it will be an OFCRA victory. So, we will be back in 3 hours for the POG Op. Thank you so much for watching. Go operate operationally. Enjoy the rest of your day or night. Cheers, and have a good one.